Hey guys, Claire here. In today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. The Archwell Foundation announced that one of its partners, the HEAT Initiative, has announced their recent success in calling for meaningful safety improvements to Meta's platform. Following the mounting pressure from parents, young people, and advocacy organizations like the HEAT Initiative, Meta has announced a series of changes to better protect young people online using Instagram and Facebook. This win is a clear example of why raising awareness and demanding change is so important in the fight to keep our children safe online. I do love that the Archwell Foundation and the Parents Network and the various partnerships that it has fostered with other organizations or other like-minded organizations is seeing some positive changes. It seems as Buckingham Palace has had a little bit of a PR snafu once again in the month of July. This time around, England fans were quick to point out the missing of one particular football player. And as per usual, social media users were quick to point that out. Now, this is what happens when you don't have staff that is diverse. After the whole situation with Meghan, didn't they say that they were going to hire diversity czars? Didn't they say that they were going to openly share how diverse or not diverse the staff members are?
Oh, this is outrageous. Before we get into the nonsense, I have to introduce you to this lovely lady, Michelle Ajamang. 19 years old, born in Britain, prolific goal scorer, but in 2021, she was only the ball girl at Wembley. 4 years later, she is saving England in the Euros, so much so that I don't know what they would do without her coming off the bench and doing these late-stage heroics. In the quarterfinal against Sweden, they were on the ropes, but do not fear, Ajamang comes in the 81st minute, tying the game. England ended up winning. In the semifinals against Italy, England again on the ropes. Trailing 1-0 in stoppage time, all of a sudden Ajamang comes out, another late sub, and scores in the 96th minute. So needless to say, without Michelle Ajamang, England would be already home, drinking their tea and eating their crumpets. So this is what absolutely sort of baffles me about the royal family's shout out to England going into the finals. My wife and I join our family in wishing you the proudest lionesses our warmest congratulations on reaching the finals of the Euros. Your journey has been nothing short of remarkable, showcasing the skill, determination, and test of nerve for which your team is so rightly celebrating. Knowing the Lioness's fighting spirit, I suspect we are in for another thrilling encounter on Sunday. Great little note. Where is Michelle Ajamang in this photo? Let's look through. Am I missing her? Someone tell me. Nope, that's not her. Nope, no, that's not her. And for those who say, Trista, why are you so upset about this and outraged? This is just the starting 11. That's just all it is. Nothing to see here, nothing untoward. To that I say, Chloe Kelly seems to be in the photo. Right there. Right there. Another sub who was fantastic so far in these Euros. In fact, they put Beth Mead in the photo 2 times. Okay, we fixed it. There it is. The photo in all of its glory, front and center for the player who is pretty much responsible for a lot of the reason that England is in this place. So what do you think? Was this foul or not?
Before this story broke, I had no idea who Kate's stylist was, what her name was, what she looked like, but after that story broke, I feel like the revelation sort of confirmed what a lot of us had already suspected. So Kate's ex-stylist quickly unfollowed over 1,400 accounts after it was revealed that she was following not only Meghan and Meghan's business, but a lot of Meghan's friends and associates as well. Now, Natasha served as Kate's personal assistant for 15 years, and soon after she stepped down, her previously private Instagram became public. public. And of course, royal watchers quickly noticed that she had been following Meghan's personal Instagram as well as ever. However, as soon as the discovery began circulating online, she quickly unfollowed those accounts, along with several others connected to the Duchess of Sussex. As Katrina on X stated, Archer was following Meghan, her brand, her wedding dress designer, her skincare specialist, Meghan's hair colorist, Meghan's best friends, Meghan's husband's best friend, which of course we know is Nacho, and Nacho's wife, and she also followed their foundation, and she also followed Archwell's former president. That's giving surveillance, borderline stalkerish, because what business would she have to follow those people? I highly doubt that she was personally interested in following those very specific accounts, especially like Meghan's skincare specialist and her hair colorist. That's giving major creepy vibes. Because why? Now, of course, fans of Harry and Meghan have been saying this for quite a while. We have noticed that a lot of things that Kate does and the way she dresses has very Meghan-esque tendencies. And it's not just the dress, sometimes it's the hat, the shoes, the pose, the mannerisms, the angles and sort of setup of posts for social media, sort of trying to mimic very popular and iconic photos of Harry and Meghan. I remember the umbrella one. They really tried to recreate their own moment. I did a video on that, and we touched mostly on the fashion element. We've even seen Kate's outfits mimicking Meghan's friend Abigail Spencer, like the dress Abigail wore to Harry and Meghan's wedding. Kate was wearing that as well. And Kate's not the only one. I remember seeing Camilla wearing a bag that Meghan wore, and even Sophie tried to get in on the fun, but also Harry's cousins also have mirrored a lot of style elements that Meghan has worn. A lot of them now seem to love the Aquazzura heels that the Duchess made famous during her time as a senior working royal. Before Meghan came onto the scene, we know that Kate dressed with her coat dresses. The woman loved coat dresses. Also would try to cosplay the Queen on occasion, but mostly was Princess Diana. I feel like that's sort of like a reoccurring theme with Kate. Like, do we even know her personality? What's her personal style? It's kind of hard to tell because she seems to be sort of chameleon, taking on different elements of women who are seen as stylish and independent and sort of taking those elements and trying to make it her own. Queen and Diana and Meghan aren't the only ones. There are other royal women that I've seen her try to emulate as well. She emulates the fashions, but not so much the work ethic. There's something about the situation, for me especially, that goes far beyond the fashion or the cosplaying of a particular fashion style. Yes, the copying is sort of creepy. I think of it as fashion colonization. And for me, one of the biggest problems with this is that when Meghan was in the UK, she was practically lambasted for every fashion decision that she made. The suits, the pantsuits, her style, just everything about her was deemed as too Hollywood, too American, not traditional enough. It's breaking royal protocol. Anything and everything, even her hair, like being windswept hair, was labeled as messy. Her buns were labeled as messy. But each and every time that Kate wears the same styles, and not just Kate, William's little friend Rose too, it's stylish and classy. So for me, it goes far beyond hemlines and the handbags, and it goes deeper into the waters of like racism and classism and a pinch of anti-Americanism as well. I've noticed that some of the royal reporters, when they speak about her being an American, and the fact that Lily and Archie are gonna have American accents, it comes off as a bit condescending and quite rude. But again, that's for another conversation.
Y'all, not that I care too much. Like, I feel like we haven't really checked on the English royals in a minute. But this is the tea on the white side of TikTok. Again, y'all, like, I really do not be on the white side of TikTok. I'm starting to see, like, glimpses of it. And this is what I've learned. So apparently, you know how like Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle had this one-sided beef? Like Meghan Markle was just living her life and Kate Middleton was like always trying to start a beef with her. So it's recently come out that Natasha Archer, who is Kate Middleton's stylist or whatever, had been following all of Meghan Markle's stylists and yoga instructors and this and all that on Instagram. And it's such a gag because it's like all the publications were like, oh, Meghan is copying Kate. No, Kate was copying Meghan, of course, because Kate has no sauce. She's spaghetti with no sauce. And Meghan Markle actually has sauce. So I'm going to put info right here. Oh my god. So yeah, this whole thing has the tea on who she has been following from.
This Kate Natasha Archer story just gets weirder and weirder. Let me explain my thoughts. You know I'm not shy. Why is Natasha Archer choosing to leave the services of Kate to become a self-employed consultant, literally on the verge of Kate becoming the Queen Consort? I mean, if you want to elevate your career, you dress the Queen Consort while she's the Queen Consort, right? And the other weird stuff. Why, although I think we know the answer to this, comments are open, give me your opinion. Why did Natasha secretly unhide everyone she was following on Instagram, including all the accounts about Meghan and Meghan's style and Meghan's stylist and Meghan's brand? I mean, to be honest, I think this was a message from Natasha to Kate. I don't think she unhid her followers and who she was following for us, for our benefit. I think this departure was not at all amicable, and that was a shot across the bows to Kate to say, not happy about this departure. I still have the power. Some of the stories, Kate, about where we got our inspiration from, Meghan, are obviously true.
When Meghan entered the fold, she brought a fresh, modern, confident style, which was a breath of fresh air. California air to be exact. But instead of that being celebrated, the headlines were absolutely brutal. She's too Hollywood for monarchy. She refuses to wear pantyhose. Remember the pantyhose conversation? Funny how nobody's talking about pantyhoses now. Now that Kate has been emulating Meghan's style, it's seen as Kate's modern take on royal fashion, and she's breaking the mold and she's trying to redefine protocols. Colonization of Meghan's vibe, of her clothing, of her style, again, with the exception of the work ethic. So it's not just about the fashion, it's about the fact that this woman was so emotionally and mentally battered, just about everything about who she is, including her fashion sense, that she got into such a deep state of depression. And now it's being twisted and heralded as something good for the English Rose, aka the White Princess. Now, was it entirely Kate's fault for the way that Meghan was dragged in the British press? Absolutely not. Although that story leaked from Kensington Palace, the Meghan made Kate cry story didn't help, or the 1,000,001 leaks from Kensington Palace, all designed to make Meghan look bad, definitely didn't help. Wasn't all her doing, wasn't all William, because Charles and Camilla and a lot of their courtiers and aides assisted in the collective dragging of Meghan via those leaked and planted stories. But as a woman, I find it very difficult to not look at her in a certain way, because she was aware of what was going on and she participated and continues to participate in this sort of, like the guy said earlier, one-sided war with Meghan. You don't like her, you don't want her around, you think she's a horrible person, but you're stalking or having your staff sort of stalk her business, her friends, her entire circle, taking those elements of who she is as a person and using them for your PR benefit. And to me, that's incredibly insidious. It's not some petty fashion thing. It's so much more. Remember in Spare, Harry told us that the family enjoys sitting at the breakfast table, reading the tabloids of the day, or the prior day. In my mind, I can almost picture them sitting around at those tables reading the just dreadful things written about Meghan, and probably chuckling. We've seen a couple of the royal reporters go on record as to saying the way that they talk about her is absolutely dreadful. So you're seeing all of this, you're seeing Meghan at her worst, you're seeing her, the light in her eyes just deteriorate with every bad headline, every leak, every planted story, every invasion of her privacy, and they just didn't care enough. Now, I don't know Meghan personally. Most of us don't. I find it hard to believe that Meghan would do that in return. That she would sit around and see a lot of the horrible things written about Kate and turn around and try to engage in sort of like passive-aggressive PR warfare. I don't think that she would. She went on record on the Oprah interview saying, you know, if you love me, you don't have to hate her. And if you love her, you don't have to hate me. And I genuinely feel like that is who she is as a person. So, it's so unfortunate. And I've said this before, but I feel like so many things about the royal family just doesn't make sense to me. Kate has married the future king. You're gonna be queen. You don't have to play all these PR games. You go out, you meet the people you're supposed to serve, and you love them, you show them that you care, you know, you write some checks to actually make a difference in their lives. You show up when it really matters, you do the work, and you go home and enjoy your life with your children. They're entitled to do that. But instead, they keep persistently, year after year, engaging in these PR wars where someone has to be at the bottom for someone to be at the top. And it's really not necessary because you are a part of hereditary monarchies. Right? Your position in that, unless you are a wife who marries into it, once you're born into that family, your position is what it is. And there is no changing, there is no amount of work ethic that changes that. So all of that plotting and scheming is really unnecessary. And it just speaks to what I feel like is an indictment of who they are as people. Maybe they didn't start out that way, but that environment seems to be vicious, and it brings out the viciousness in them all. How unfortunate. Anyway, enough of that.
Another day, another drama. What is it this time? Well, a certain lady has lost their personal stylist / private secretary of about 15 years because this secretary or stylist has decided to go it alone and set up their own company. Nothing wrong with that. I wish her all the best. However, many of us have long suspected that this person dressing like Meghan, co-opting Meghan's personality, her use of hands all of a sudden, her use of folders, so many things have been a deliberate ploy. Well. There is evidence, or rather, there appears to be some evidence of that. What do I mean? So this person's stylist decided to make their Instagram account public, and that way people can have a look at who they are following. And it's been revealed that this person has been following Meghan's dress designer, Meghan's skincare specialist, Meghan's hair colorist, Meghan's close, non-famous friends, Harry's best friend and his foundation, and Archwell's former president. Now, you don't follow that many people, you don't follow that many dots unless you are connecting them. In any other industry, this would be called competitive benchmarking. In tech, it's called inspiration. In luxury, it's called creative referencing. But in the world of royal image crafting, it's called narrative hijacking. Because we all know that Meghan didn't just bring fashion into that firm. She actually brought a new aesthetic language into that family. She brought clean lines, intentional minimalism, trouser suits, shirts, very carefree, laid back, easy California style, and modern tailoring. She made luxury look lived in and not staged, because Meghan was stylish, not styled to the hilt. And all of a sudden, this other girl is no longer wearing those button coat dresses with the buttons. She's no longer wearing those prairie dresses. She's no longer wearing these, I don't know, granny chic type vampire girl type whatever dresses. She's literally following Meghan's blueprint. And it's such a shame because she literally sat back and watched while Meghan was demonized for choice of color choices, length of trousers, tailoring, shirts, the whole lot, only for her and her stylist to literally co-opt Meghan's look.
And Kate isn't the only one who has her people doing covert spy missions into Meghan and her following. Charles's guy, Constantine, was busted following Meghan as well. So yeah, I have always maintained that I feel like there are certain staff members and members of the family who have their low-key social media accounts. Remember, Harry told us that he had his. That's how he saw Meghan. So I'm willing to bet that a few of them have accounts. We know we've caught a few of the royal reporters, and someone had caught like a couple of Jason Knopfs a few years ago. So I'm sure they're on there writing those horrible comments.
Just when we get the news that another clothing shop associated with a certain other girl has closed down, we then get another bit of news. What do I mean? Let's talk about the Meghan effect, still uncredited and still imitated. We're not just talking about clothes, we are talking about control. What do I mean? So Meghan entered the royal family and she didn't just wear Givenchy. She actually wore change. It was different. It was different to what other people in that family were wearing, and she got criticized for it. She came in as a biracial American divorcee, and she redefined what it was to be a princess in the 21st century. And that scared the system. In fact, Harry said that they knew she was going to leave because of the way they were abusing her. Please note the word, the way they were abusing her. And the same system abusing her were actually quietly studying her playbook because they didn't understand why she was still popular despite everything they were throwing at her. But a certain person's team, they weren't just inspired by Meghan, they were literally and are literally tracking Meghan's every move. Her friends, her glam team, her aesthetic, everyone she's associated with, they started by copying the shoes, then the trouser suits, then the colors, then the hairstyle, then the makeup, then the gestures, then the mannerisms. And the same institutions that vilified Meghan are now mining her brand for elegance points. And I think that is diabolical. And now that it's been revealed that a certain person's stylist, her following list is actually following everyone in Meghan's ecosystem, I say, wow. I mean, we knew it was happening, but to have it confirmed, diabolical.
Oh, now you want to cry foul. Now you want to scream hypocrisy? Because people are finally holding Kate Middleton and Prince William to the same standard you've weaponized against Harry and Meghan for years? You're choking on a fraction of the smoke Meghan gets. And quite frankly, I live for it. You don't get to play victim because your Duchess is catching a little heat. This is the consequence of years of unchecked, racist, misogynistic abuse hurled at Meghan while you clutch your pearls and pretend it's all just criticism. Where was this energy when Meghan was being hunted by the British press like a blood sport? Where were your moral outrage threads then? Let me be crystal clear. This isn't hypocrisy. This is balance. This is reciprocity. You want equality? Welcome to it. We're no longer playing defense. We're not here to shield Meghan from your vile takes. While Kate gets to glide through scandal after scandal, draped in a coat dress and media protection. This isn't some sudden attack on Kate. This is you finally seeing what happens when the internet stops curtsying mediocrity. You gagged on Meghan's every move. Her nail polish, her baby bump, her avocado toast. And now, when Kate blinks wrong, or disappears for months, and people ask questions, it's leave her alone? Absolutely not. Not when people have made it their full-time job to dissect a woman of color's every breath. And let's talk about who's doing all this fake crying. You all love to run your mouths behind no profile pics and usernames with 6 numbers. You're private when you're bold and anonymous when you're loud. It's giving coward. It's giving protection. You believed every made-up story about Meghan like it was scripture. You've built whole digital identities around hating a woman you don't even know. And now that you're catching the teeniest whiff of pushback, you want to cry foul? You made the rules. We're just playing your game better than you ever could. And let me tell you something else. You're not built for offense. You've lived too long in your comfortable echo chamber, spewing recycled Daily Fail headlines while convincing yourself you're the moral compass. That's the hypocrisy. But the moment we grab the mic, the moment we clap back with facts, poise, and receipts, you fall apart. You cry double standard. You whimper, but Kate, you don't get grace you never gave. So if this feels unfair to you, congratulations. You're finally understanding what Meghan's faced every single day for 7 years straight. Now imagine going through that while pregnant. Imagine going through that while... So don't cry to us about hypocrisy. Cry to the editors you believe. Cry to the influencers who sold you propaganda. Cry to the monarchy that let it all happen. But do not ever expect silence from us again.
Whenever the royal family members are up to no good, suddenly you start seeing more and more stories about Meghan and Harry. That's not to say they don't constantly write about Meghan and Harry and criticize them and drag them and lie about them in the press, but they ramp it up, especially when there's something to hide about the other members of the royal family. We all know what's going on with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey, right? And of course, William and Kate and their kids on their 6th or 7th holiday now, as this person has rightly pointed out, and all of the bullying allegations against King Charles and his staff, paying them lower than the minimum wage and all of that. So when these things are happening, instead of the press to report on the royal family and their shenanigans, they start to ramp up their attacks on Meghan and Harry. It's a tale as old as time. We've seen it over and over again. We've seen it since Meghan joined the royal family. They haven't stopped. They've been gone 5 years now. Every single day is negative headlines after negative headlines about Meghan and Harry. And they only do this to protect their royals. If the royals were so good, why do they need so much protection by the press? Why is the media, who's supposed to be a neutral arm, always covering for them, always trying to shield them from criticism? We know why, right, guys? But we will not sit back and let them continue to use Meghan and Harry as their scapegoat. Meghan and Harry are gone, they're living their life, they're thriving. Sort your royals out so you don't constantly need a scapegoat and a fall guy for their shenanigans. You're welcome.
Oh dear. When you're on your 8th holiday of the year, and it's not even the 8th month, and you're on holiday more than you work, what exactly are you on holiday from? I'm going to get a lot of critical comments and a lot of people saying how much they do for the country. Yeah, but they just like spending a lot of time out of it. And how did they get to their latest holiday on a £450 million German-built super yacht owned by a sheikh from Abu Dhabi? Surely Prince William and his family didn't travel there by private jet. That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? You know, what with Prince William and his Earthshot project, telling us plebs how to be green. Yeah, I'm sure the 146 metre long super yacht with 2 helipads doesn't use much energy. They're on holiday till September. Why? Have they suddenly lost all their butlers, servants, cleaners and nanny? I know Princess Kate has just lost her personal assistant, but does that mean she can't be seen in public because she doesn't know how to dress herself? I wonder what the attraction of Greece was. Maybe he really just wanted to drop in on some of his relatives.
And with that, we've come to the conclusion of today's video. And wherever you guys are, I hope you're having a wonderful day and that you have a productive and peaceful week. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.